All right, happy Monday. Let's get into it. We'll start with gold. We've obviously had the weekly open today, so let's see how that has panned out. Weekly open has been grabbed. We have minor demand here, which may have already been taken. Not yet by the looks of it. Daily is still bullish. We have already distributed. That is something to very much so bear in mind. Could this be a distribution? It's a valid range. Asia low is also range low. Four hour is still bearish. The hourly is still bearish. Look, I'm willing to potentially look at a short here. Conditions aren't the worst. Was this valid structure supply? That's my question. It's already been mitigated there. It's already been mitigated here. Well, I'm not seeing a clean supply POI or even unless that this could actually be it. This could be the only clean POI we have, and I will allow it. Yeah, that is valid. That is valid. It is a valid supply. So there you go. That is a valid supply POI, which I will very much so use. Price has just mitigated it. There's no extreme liquidity POI. It would have been this if it wasn't for this bearish candle in between. Other than that, there is no other POI other than this extreme supply POI. So all I'm doing now is honestly just monitoring the break. It would be this, depending on how we close in 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a long way away. For now, this is a 5-minute low, and it's a valid 5-minute low. It's also just inside our range value, so on my books, it would be a very valid break. Yes, we have demand here, but it's kind of already been mitigated, and we've also got the Asia low at the range low, so good enough liquidity target. Technically, the Asia low is here. So I'm willing to take this, given the break is clean. I would look for a refined entry though, because at the moment the risk reward isn't the best. It's 2.17. We can do a lot better using this system. I have also set the alert should this become a model 1. Leave gold where it is, and we'll check back on it a little bit later in this market check. And yeah, let's continue moving along. Silver. The hourly is still bullish. How valid is the demand that I'm seeing here? I'm obviously going to have to zoom in and see how valid this really is. Okay. Not that valid. It's been mitigated. This is really valid demand, as that's been mitigated. Context is a bit more bullish here than what gold is, so I would be a little bit apprehensive to short this. Yeah, I'm just going to be patient here. Not really a whole lot to do just yet. Yeah, that's really all I can give for silver. Maybe a bit more of a local range here. That could be something we can look at. And then we'll set an alert at the range low as well. I do expect higher, especially given that there is supply above us. And then we had Asia low, which is here. And then in terms of the weekly open, that has been grabbed. That is it for silver. All right, let's look at oil. I'm just hoping I haven't messed around with the sound. We'll see. Yeah, if you have watched If you haven't watched it, go back, watch the explanation. I'm not going to explain as to why I entered this and why here and why these are my POIs. But I am still in this position, and I have since brought my stop loss. As much as it shows it's here, it's actually a break even now, so my stop loss is right here, so I can't lose anything on this trade anymore. Reason as to why I moved my stop loss where it is because of this distribution which occurred. And yeah, that made me bring my, as soon as I saw this price action, this distributive price action, that was enough confluence for me to bring my stop loss to break even. The one thing I haven't checked, well, I tried to check it the other day, but it didn't load, was this volume profile. And it's still not working. Okay, it is what it is, no volume profile. But it does look like we are most likely going to get stopped at break even. If we don't, we don't, but this does look like distributive price action to me, and I feel like we're going to go below and take out these two lows as well. So we'll see what happens there. USD JPY. You know what, the one thing I didn't do on oil was look at the weekly opens. But from memory, yeah, they both got taken out. Yeah, it's like somewhere here. Okay, that is fine. Asia high, however, has not yet been grabbed, but it is part of a distribution model, so it's not necessarily a liquidity target because it has grabbed liquidity. Just an FYI there. Probably going to hit break even today, or like while I'm recording this. Hopefully we don't. We'll see. Okay. USD JPY. Well, we're still very much so bearish. You can see we're in a bearish context. Thus, I have set up for a distribution, which I don't think we're getting just yet. I think we might continue going lower. In terms of where the weekly open occurred here, so that's been grabbed. Nothing to really do on USD JPY at the moment. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot that is catching my eye. All those are set for when we hit range low or range high, so all I can do now is just be patient and let price action do its thing. But the environment is still bearish, so just, yeah, remember that. AUD CAD. We're expanding aggressively there. It's a very bullish environment, so this range is now invalid. And I'm also not going to be looking at this as a distribution. This price action here. Yeah, there's probably some form of accumulation here locally. Let's wait and see if we hit that supply. Otherwise, there's nothing really that I'm interested in from where price currently is at. That is valid demand, so we'll leave that as is. But yeah, there's just not a whole lot that I am too interested in just yet for AUD CAD. But yeah, given we're in a very bullish environment, you just got to be looking for retracements where we can get any sort of reaccumulation, which is not happening as of yet. So we will keep the ball rolling the sentiment also hadn't changed much there. Fairly similar, fairly bullish environment, but I'm hoping that we can deviate this first tap of our higher time frame range. Well, in terms of the, yeah, okay, so it's actually, it all depends on how we close today, because we've broken through bearish here. Now, if we close above this, we're now all of a sudden bullish on the daily. Let me adjust this so you guys can see me better. Yeah, it's all very dependent on how we close here. Ideally, it's a wick, so then we can pull back in and create this higher time frame distributive range, and then come up sometime later down the track, and then short this to arranged lows. Boom. That is the plan. Let's see if the confirmations will allow us. I don't like trading low time frame around this deviation unless I get like a very clean distribution. Price can really go either way. It may have even left demand below. So when price is deviating a range, I kind of just want to let it do its thing and see if we can reclaim the range. Okay, so it might be a valid 3-hour OBIF. How valid is it on the low time frames? Okay, yeah. It's a valid demand. Valid demand, let's see what happens. NZD CAD. I feel like we might be bullish on the 4-hour now. Not yet. Our highs up here. But as you can also see, we have expanded quite aggressively, so there probably wouldn't be any sort of local. Yeah, we're most likely going to break this hourly mark, the 4-hour mark structure high, because on the way up, as you can see quite clearly, we have left quite a bit of demand. You can see market makers are protecting their positions. Or not necessarily protecting their positions, but a lot of people have entered here. With the market maker protecting their buy positions, because yeah, we are going higher. So expect that 4-hour high to go broken. And hopefully at one point we start getting our return to zone, and we can then get a confirmation later down the track of this high time frame distribution. Only time will tell. We'll see. But yeah, nothing for me to do on NZD CAD just yet. Look at that. Look at that animal I am, yeah? Oos. Alright, Euro GBP. I've missed a few weekly opens, haven't I? There's the weekly open. Weekly open here has been grabbed. And then yeah, we spoke about the weekly open on USD JPY. NZD CAD as well. Where was the weekly open there? Okay, the weekly open there was grabbed. Weekly open on Euro GBP has also been grabbed. Technically we've got equal lows. But yeah, that's valid enough. It's not. We can leave that as is. We have grabbed the previous week's weekly open, as you can see. Boom. Dailies, however, still bearish, but the lower time frames are bullish. Not a whole lot to do on Euro GBP just yet. Let's be patient and see what price gives us. I do see us going higher for now. I will quite confidently say that. We failed to break the low here. Looks like we're going higher. Pushing all the way through supply. There's supply on the left. Not really interested in this range anymore. Still bearish on the daily for now. Daily closure, once again, will be fairly important. But not a lot that's of any interest to me just yet. I think the weekly open got taken out as well. Yeah. That's been grabbed. Not a whole lot that I can do. Yeah, let's just let price play out. Asia session is not a real key liquidity target as well. It's we just need price action to play out quite a bit more. Distribution, how's the follow through on that very low time frame distribution, and then we have this high time frame distribution. Targeting the monthly open. We obviously did not enter on this. Yeah, still bearish. Still look for any redistribution opportunities if you can get them. I do want to allow this as a supply POI, and kind of has been mitigated on the lower time frame, therefore it's not really, it's just not a clean supply POI, is it? It just isn't. It's also left behind a little bit of buy side liquidity, so therefore we're not going to be looking at this. What else can I do, you may ask? Not a whole lot with this range at the moment. It's a fairly bearish context. I expect it to follow, to get decent amount of follow through. Perfect. Perfect accumulation created with the purpose of creating that third tap. Like, yeah, this whole model is very, very clean. Is there a reason as to why we didn't take it? Especially with that happening? Maybe the brakes weren't clean. Yeah, because we SFP, that's right. It was an SFP there, which was very annoying to trade. And you could have probably re-entered here, but then we're just leaving behind quite a bit of buy side as well with Asia highs above. Yeah, there was a lot of reasons to not enter this. And now we're about to complete the distribution, so yeah. We just got to be patient here, guys. AUD, CHF. Oh, did anything change there, contextually speaking? No, we've spoken about that. Okay, AUD, CHF. What are we seeing here? Well, we're looking pretty bullish. Is the weekly still bearish? Let's double check. Is the weekly still bearish? Well, guys. For now it is, yeah. For now it is. An ever so slight SFP, but at the end of this week, I'm quite confident that we'll probably close bullish for the week. So, and that would obviously shift structure to bullish. But let's see. There is a bit of sell side. There is quite a bit of sell side that we might pull back into. At the moment, we have grabbed the open. Is this valid supply? We're obviously going to double check that. No. If it's, look, it is valid on there. I will allow this. Although I only expect a minor rejection from here. But yeah, locally, nothing that is of interest to me for this AUD CHF price action. And that's exactly what I, same thing here. That's exactly what I said when I did the market check yesterday. A lot of these pre-plannings can, a lot of the time, go out the window very quickly during when the weekly open occurs. And we're seeing that right now. All these ranges that I've drawn up, a lot of them are just have become invalidated quite quick as soon as we've had that open. Okay, no, this is not valid demand at all. We're slowly moving towards that daily high, but nothing as of yet to really, look for. We're just gonna have to keep the ball rolling. Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba. Have a look at that, another range which we planned, but then as I also said, be susceptible to this liquidity getting taken out. And what have we done? We have absolutely grabbed that liquidity and hunted it down. Heavy supply. Very heavy supply. Okay, so we're still bullish on the daily, but bearish on the rest. Bearish on the 4, bearish on the 1. Can we look for more refined POIs? Yes, we can. Got a few options here. Let's just wait and see if price wants to come back. Good chance it will. Could we also look at this as a potential ranging environment with a local model here? Yeah, potentially. Let's see. Yeah, let's just see if we can come back into this range. As the liquidity has been grabbed. Time will tell. Time will tell. USD CAD supply still there. I think I already looked at the weekly open for GBP AUD. Yeah. USD CAD, nothing has changed here. Maybe the open is some sort of interesting candle. No, there it is. Nothing to do here either. Just look for redistribution opportunities. We grabbed last week's weekly open on Euro NZD. Still bearish. We've also not really created a clean weekly open for today, or have we? No, that's here. Yep. Not a whole lot that's of interest here, guys. Very minor supply in here. Same story here. If a redistribution opportunity presents itself, take it. Given your confluences align and your confirmations are clean and clear. Other than that, not much else. GBP, JPY. Yeah, still bullish on the weekly. Are we bearish still on the daily? Yes. Yep. What's the 4 hour saying? 4 hour could still be bearish, to be fair. I'm not going to count it out of being bearish. Yeah, still bearish. Not a whole lot. Yeah, nothing interests me here. Maybe a very minor local accumulation scalp, which looks like it might just be complete. Yeah, Harley is still bullish, so could you have had a good entry here? I don't know. No. You could have only realistically entered here. I've shorted. You could have only realistically entered here with your stops below here and then your TP at range high. No, 1.39 you may have gotten. Good return to zone, but just not a clean, not really a clean, not the risk to reward you want, put it that way. But yeah, not really a whole lot to do for Euro, for GBP JPY just yet. I'm not like overly wrapped with the price action here. Let's see if this accumulation completes itself. Yeah, that's about it really. GBP NZD. Obviously we have broken to bearish. Well, how is the 4 hour looking? That's our low. Still bullish for now. Not a whole lot to do. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to wait and see what happens. Yeah, price action's just been so stagnant the last couple of 1 to 2 weeks. We've had a few setups. We've had some fairly decent opportunities in Asia session, which I don't trade. So other than that, during London, there hasn't really been much, to be honest. Like, that's not really clean supply. Yeah, let's see what happens. That's all I've got for today. Yeah, there's just not a whole lot to go off. That's probably the closest thing to anything, and even that itself isn't anything major, if you'd ask me. Yeah, gold is still the most interesting one. Has any market structure changed? Not really. Maybe we had any 1 minute breaks in there. It's a valid 1 minute market structure break on the 1 minute. No real crystal clear supply has been left, just an FYI. This is somewhat of a supply POI. But same thing, it's not the cleanest supply POI because it is made up of minor buy side liquidity. And this isn't, unless it's valid 2 minute. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, let's just see how this 5 minute break occurs. But it's aggressive. But right as of now, I'm no longer interested in entering this just because of how poor the risk to reward is. It's just not good. So I'll see if I can get a more refined entry once we do break structure. Ideally, like if we can get a convincing break, then I'm happy to, if we get a pullback, then enter around here somewhere. Only time will tell. Is that a valid 10-minute break now? Yes, okay, so we're looking at this from a 10-minute break of structure perspective now. Very important. Yeah, very important you monitor how the 10-minute candle closes. Other than that, not a whole lot to do, guys. Still looking at this higher time frame. I'm not a higher time frame move. We're just looking at this distribution, plain and simple, than oil. For now, we are still in the trade. All right, that's it. Thanks for listening, for viewing. Subscribe if you have made it this far, and I'll catch you on tomorrow's update. Peace.